everyone, my name is Star and welcome back to another video. Today's Mental Health Monday video will be talking about hypersexuality and how hypersexuality impacts me and what caused my hypersexuality. So a lot of people get confused, like, is hypersexuality a sexual orientation? The answer is absolutely not. It is not. Anyone can be hypersexual. Even asexual people can be hypersexual. Asexual and aromantic people can also be hypersexual. Basically, anyone of any walk of life can be hypersexual. Now, let me pull out Google so that way I can have the right resources to explain the information about hypersexuality. Let me use Siri. What is hypersexuality? Hypersexuality, an obsession with sexual thoughts, urges, or behaviors that may cause distress or that negatively affect health, job, or relationships. And what are the signs of hypersexuality? Excessive sexual thoughts, urges, or behaviors are difficult to control and cause significant distress or impairment in daily life. So basically, what can cause hypersexuality? Well, there's a lot of things that could cause it. Pretty much almost anything can cause it, from traumatic events to sexual abuse to becoming addicted to porn can cause it. Drug use can cause hypersexuality. Psychotic disorders can cause hypersexuality. Autism spectrum disorder is one of the most common causes of hypersexuality. Also, hypersexuality can happen at any age. There are other triggers that can trigger hypersexuality, such as a traumatic event, or sexual abuse, or grooming can cause it. What caused my hypersexuality in particular is a mixture of trauma of people abandoning me. Like, I've had past partners not understand my disabilities and they end up fucking ghosting me. Except for one guy I dated, but he was also disabled, so he understood my struggles. He has, like, the same condition as me, but don't worry, me and him are on good terms. But a lot of my other exes were neurotypical, able-bodied people who did not understand me and did not understand how to navigate having a partner that is so hypersexual. And I am a extremely hypersexual person. What I think caused my hypersexuality is a mixture of trauma, specifically from people, like, leaving me after they tell me they love me. So I kind of use, like, my own body for attention, if that makes sense. I know it's bad. Like, surprisingly, I'm still a virgin, but I have been flirtatious with people I barely even knew online and in real life. My hypersexuality has gotten so bad to where I can't even leave the house because I'm afraid that I will make other people uncomfortable, because I have what's called intrusive sexual thoughts, which is a secondary characteristic of hypersexuality. And what intrusive hypersexual thoughts are is thoughts of, like, unwanted, intrusive thoughts of harming someone sexually. And I have such a deep fear of becoming that kind of a person, even though I know logically I would never ever do anything like that to somebody. And it sucks living with intrusive thoughts like that. And I'm afraid of telling my therapist about it because I'm afraid I'll get locked up for it. Even though I know it's not my fault, it's just the way my brain was hardwired. What also caused my hypersexuality is I have a psychotic disorder that also has symptoms of bipolar disorder called schizoaffective disorder, and the type I have is schizoaffective bipolar type. Now, for me, what that means is that I experience more mania than depression. while people with schizoaffective depressive type experience more depression. I do have pretty severe depression. A lot of the times I have a hard time even dragging myself out of bed and taking care of myself. But the reason why psychotic disorders can cause hypersexuality is that psychotic disorders affect your perception on absolutely everything. And I mean everything. Even your own sensory perception of the world is different with a psychotic disorder. And I also have another disorder that causes a difference in sensory perception called autism spectrum disorder. The type of autism I have is autism spectrum disorder level 1, borderline level 2, which means I am low to medium support autistic. Which means I am able to do more things than most other autistic people are able to do, but I still need a lot of support with like learning life skills and that kind of thing. But I think the main cause of my hypersexuality is a mixture of puberty for me and the mental disorders I have, specifically schizoaffective and autism. A very famous example of hypersexuality in autistic people is Chris Chan. However, here's a very, very, very clear disclaimer. Most people who are hypersexual would never harm anyone intentionally. Chris Chan just happens to be the fucking exception for some, like, God knows what reason. And also, I am trying to get better at controlling my hypersexuality, but it's so fucking hard when you have dirty thoughts 24/7, even though you don't always want to be thinking about these things. Like, some of the thoughts I have are so distressing that sometimes I have panic attacks because of my hypersexuality. My hypersexuality also led me to become a porn addict, unfortunately. And porn addiction in people assigned female at birth is not talked about enough because it presents more differently than with people assigned male. So for people assigned female at birth, when one of us is addicted to porn, we feel more guilt, more shame, more depression than men do, because society like deem porn addiction and hypersexuality as a men's problem. Even though that's not true, men are not the only ones who could get affected by hypersexuality. Anyone can be affected by hypersexuality. Now, there is a very big difference between hypersexuality and nymphomania, which I will explain the difference. So hypersexuality is just you mainly just have internal thoughts about sexual stuff. It could be intrusive sexual thoughts or just general thoughts about sex and sex-related stuff. Now, nymphomania is a full-blown sex addiction. Like, you're addicted to having sex, basically. Now, hypersexuality has done a lot of damage to my life. It has lowered my self-esteem so significantly that I see myself as filthy, disgusting, horrible, all kinds of things. Like, I literally think I am the most disgusting person ever because of my hypersexuality. Because I have obsessive thoughts about anything sexual, and it makes me feel dirty, it makes me feel ashamed, and I do cry about it a lot. I do cry. I wish I wasn't this way, but I am because of my autism and schizoaffective, and also the trauma of other people leaving me because I thought they wanted me, but they didn't want me. They just wanted my body. Like, that kind of shit will stick with you forever. Hypersexuality is also so romanticized by social media. And I would just like to say, as someone who is very hypersexual, you don't want this. You really, really don't want this. Trust me. As someone who is hypersexual, you do not want this mental compulsion. You do not want it. I fucking hate living with hypersexuality. I hate myself for being this way. And my hypersexuality started at a much earlier age because I kind of discovered something about myself at an early age on accident. Basically, I remember one day I was like playing around with one of those vibrating massager things you could get from Target. It's like the thing that has like 4 balls on it, kind of like there's like 4. It kind of reminds me of a car because of the way it's shaped, and it has like 4 balls at the bottom that like vibrate. And my like 8-year-old brain thought, oh, it'd be funny to put it on my privates. And then I did it. And then I immediately became hypersexual and addicted to masturbation, porn, all those things. And it wasn't until recently that I started finally talking about my hypersexuality and how it truly makes me feel. I know in the past I did romanticize it, but the reason why I romanticized it is not because I like being hypersexual. It's because that was the only way I knew how to cope with it. But I want to talk to my therapist about this, but I don't know how to talk to her about it because this has always been seen as a men's problem and not a woman's problem, or in my case, a non-binary person's problem. In fact, most people assigned female at birth, they are never helped with their hypersexuality. They are slut-shamed, they are even raped for being hypersexual, and they are higher risk for being sexually abused. So I don't really know how to approach my therapist and say, hey, I want to get over my hypersexuality because I don't want to keep living like this anymore. But that's all for today's video. My name is Star. Thank you guys for watching, and comment down below your guys' experience with it and some advice. That'd be great, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!